fifth graders, your project is the 7 elements of art. It's something that we went through in school. We went through these words. We kind of grazed over each of them as we went along on each project. The last project we were working on was the lighthouse, giant lighthouse, right? That's right now hopefully still standing in the cafeteria. That is form. That's one of the words we were going to be going over. For the 7 elements of art, you need to know those words when you go from 5th grade to 6th grade. You also need to know the principles of art also. But let's talk about the 7 elements of art. I have a project that you can do so that you can work on each of those elements and have them in one piece. So I want to show you these 7 words. Here they are. So we have line, shape, color, value, form, texture, and space. Line, shape, color, you guys, you know that before you even walked into the art room. Value, you learned a lot since you've been in art class for the past couple of years. That is the lightness or darkness of a color. Now, form is an actual object, like a 3-dimensional object. Texture doesn't actually mean texture that you can feel, but texture when you draw or paint has the appearance of something that you can feel. And then finally, space, which is pretty much making the illusion of 3-dimensional space inside of a flat surface, like a piece of paper or a canvas, making it appear that there's a large area of space inside that picture. So, what I'd like to do next is to show you each of those words with an example from a master artist. So let's start at the top. Let's start with line. So with line, you're working at an artwork by Bridget Riley. She's an op art artist. Op meaning optical illusion. And she's utilizing line right here for her artwork. I mean, it's very obvious, right? It's very obvious. And she's using it to really good effect to make it look like it's moving. If you move your head front and back, like getting closer to the picture and farther away while looking at the center, it looks like it's actually moving. For shapes, we're going to look at P.A. Mondrian's Broadway Boogie Woogie. That's what this is called, Broadway Boogie Woogie. It's almost like a top-down view of a section of a city with all the lights on and the giant rectangular buildings everywhere. It's all made of shape. The shape of the painting is a square, and you got squares inside of it with rectangles. It's just all built on shapes. This next painting is for color. Van Gogh's Starry Night. And I picked this one for color because of how vibrant it looks, how the colors just kind of like pop and come right out at you when you look at it. People really like looking at it because of the color, because of how the large orange and yellow moon it looks like it's really glowing, and the stars look like they're shimmering. For value, I chose for you to take a look at Johann Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring. It's a very famous painting, and I really like this painting for value because she has this really dark shadow on one side and a really bright area on the other side where the light's coming from. And Vermeer was able to make all those beautiful little values in there across her face, across the blue and gold headdress, across her clothing, and even a little bit in the earring too. If you saw it in person, you'd see more value tones in there on that earring too. For form, I chose Michelangelo's David because this is an easy one. Form is an actual 3-dimensional object. Form cannot be a painting or a drawing unless it's a collage and you have something glued to it. Pretty much form is sculpture. Things that you can make out of clay, concrete, plaster, found objects too, wood. Anything that you can look around and hold or touch, that would be a form. This is Andrew Wyeth's Christina's World. I'm using this one for texture. At first glance, you might not really say, well, this kind of, Mr. D, it's sort of like texture. I get it with the grass. But when you zoom in on it, and here's a zoom in on that picture where her foot is, you can really get a sense that like her foot is in the grass. She's laying in the grass. It's almost like you can you can hear the grass rustling in the wind, or when she moves along the grass. It's a really amazing painting in terms of texture, how something looks or feels. This really looks and feels like a field of grass. And finally, we have space. I chose Raphael's School of Athens for space. It just shows space really well. You have in the foreground larger figures. As the people are seen towards the back, they get slightly smaller. The arches, the first arch is the one closest to you. You could see that like orange, gold, black patterning on it, and it just goes up and around the painting. And then as you look in, there's another arch, and then another arch, and then another arch way in the back, which is above Plato and Aristotle's head, who are the two figures in the middle of the painting. Those arches just keep echoing, and they get smaller as they go back, and it increases that sense of space. Like, you get this idea that that is a really big hallway. There's a really big open area. It's an interesting project, and it really literally goes through every single element of art. And we're going to cheat a little bit when it comes to form, because we're going to make a drawing and we have to somehow show form on it. And that's tough to do because it's something you hold. So we're going to create three-dimensional looking objects for form in place of actual objects. Right, Bob? Okay, for this project, you're going to need 7 sections. So to make the sections, I want to find the middle here. I want to find the middle here. You could use a ruler too if you like. The ruler would be perfectly fine. You might prefer to do that. So I'm going to take from this middle and draw to the bottom left-hand corner a straight line going down to here. Like that. Same thing over here. This is going to go down to this corner. Just kind of seeing where they meet. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. This is going to go to that corner. And then finally this corner on that side. And that will give us our 7 sections right there. 1 in the middle, 2 in the sides, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, next thing you're going to do, you're going to create some sort of text inside of here, and it can overlap all these spaces. All right, art would be the most standard word. That would work fine. You can choose to keep the word inside of here. You could even make it your own name if you wanted to. That's fine too. So I'm going to go for the word art. There you go. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's good just like that. Just to give a little bit of three-dimensionality to it. Okay, so that's done. And now I'm going to be starting to put the elements in here. I do have a Sharpie marker. So I think I'm going to lock these lines in. That way I don't accidentally do any damage to them. Okay, there we go. Now we start filling in all the sections. So let's say line is first, right? We'll do line. We can do Zentangle lines. We can do op art lines. Any type of line will do. You can repeat the line. You could change it up. That is all entirely up to you guys. But this right here will be my line section. Let's change the directions over here. And finish that off, and then over here we'll just go like this. That's my line section. So next is shape. You gotta make some shapes next. So you could get creative with this. You can make something realistic with shapes, or you could just actually make shapes. I'll go a little more artistic. How how about we do this? A little of that. Maybe I'll put something over here. Put something over here. So I'm working with circles right now. Still counts as a shape. Still shapes. Let's see here. I can make this one over here. Big red spot. Big red spot on Jupiter, I heard, is disappearing. That's going to go away in like 1 billion years or something like that. Let's do some moons. Put some craters on them. And we can put shapes. Count as shapes. They are shapes. That's my shape section right there. So you got line. I got shape. Now I got to do color, but I'm using a color pencil. So what I'll do is, I think I'm going to create a section here of different types of color. When I go to grab my markers to do this. So this is going to be my color section, and I will grab me a marker for right now to remind me that this is where my color is going to be. And I'm just going to color in each of those, just flat color, just like that. Do some nice vibrant colors in here. Next up, value. Can't use markers. Could use the pencil, but I do have colored pencils here. And I could think of something really nice to do value. I could pick an object, just like that Vermeer portrait. I could pick a still life, anything, as long as it's got that light to dark on it. For me, being that I like blue so much, I'm going to use blue. Well, I've been using my emoji cup for my pencil shavings. It's been working out quite nicely. Let's see here. I want that purple too. I love purple-blue combinations. All right, so let's choose this one here. Well, I've got a lot of bright color here, so I might as well choose this one up here. Hello, cat. So this is, I'm literally fighting the cat right now to actually draw. This is hysterical. Rude. Yeah. All right, so there's value. Darkness, lightness of a color. I just went for color. You can use objects if you want. All right, so we've got line, we've got shape, we've got color, we've got value. The next one's form, but I want to save that one. I want to save form. So what I'm going to go for right now is space. I want to do space. So for space, I could do the old tried and true road getting smaller into the distance. You know, I could do that sort of a thing. So it's got a destination. Bigger, 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 bigger. And get that dotted line in there. It gets longer and longer. And we can have something on that horizon line back there. Maybe Keep it simple. Make a couple mountains. There you go. And then I can add anything I want to the sides here. It could be any type of landscape. Doesn't matter. I don't want to make, because I could make like buildings on here, but then that gets a little confused with shapes, and it could get a little confused with form. So for this right here, well, I did a canyon scene, so you know, for third grade, so I might as well keep that alive. Make it sort of like a desert situation or something. And this one could be a little bit smaller, and then there's a smaller one here. Then it gets really tiny in the back. We can have little things of grass once in a while. Patches of grass that also get smaller as it goes away. So you get the idea of what's going on here. So there's my space. Now I gotta go for texture. Texture's a toughie. And I gotta get over there. I have to draw here. We've talked about this. No, not scissors. Where'd it go? Ah! Now it's in you. Psych! I got it back. Alright, so anyway. Did you draw on the paper for real? Ow. I don't know what that is. Alright, so for texture, we could go with the Andrew Wyatt's grass. We can draw a picture of an animal and put an animal on there, right? So let's do that. Let's have some fun with this. And I'm drawing with this. No, you chewed it. Why are you chewing? Oh my gosh! Here, take this one. There you go. You're such an animal. Why do you act like an animal? What's up with that? Here, look this way so I can see your face. There you go. All right, get that nose on there. Oh, that's a claw. That's a claw. All right, so for this, what I'll do for this one is I think I'll use colored pencils for it because it's a lot easier to make texture, and you are laying on the colored pencils. Ow! You bit my finger. Why would you bite my finger? No, I don't want to play like this. Come on, it'd be nice. Cat. It's got nice texture on it. Okay, last thing. In the center, it's going to be form. We've got to make form. So you can make any type of three-dimensional objects in there. Let's get the pencil. Let's get a nice big, a little bit smaller than that. There you go. Nice sphere going in there. And let's make a light and a dark side. I'm gonna get the I'm gonna get the black pencil for this. Black pencil. That'll be my light area here. And then it gets lighter. You get lighter here, and it gets darker and darker as you go back. So I'm going to make a very light shade right here, a little bit darker. in this one. Much darker in this one. A lot darker in that one. Oops, that's not good. Okay, so there it is. You have your 7 elements in here. All right, you got your line, you got your color, you got your shapes, you got your value, you got your space, texture, form, art. There it is. You can go in a lot of different directions for something like this. But these are the 7 elements you need to know. And it's a nice way to hang it up, remind yourself of these different elements. These elements build up the principles of art, which we'll get into a little bit down the road. Yeah, so take a look at this project, try it out, try the different elements in there. You can orient this in any way you want, any types of windows, shapes, things like that. You don't have to write art, you can have something else on there. And also take a look at the 4th grade project and even the 3rd grade project. The 4th grade project would be great for you guys. It's a still life, so take a look at that and consider making one of those. And as always, whatever you make, toss it my way, either on Google Classroom or email. All right, guys. Peace.